Hey guys, it's James. James's boat build. I want to let you in on a little secret, and it's it's something you might know, but maybe you all don't. This epoxy right here is tacky. It's still like tacky, putty. I could put my fingerprint in it, so it's too soon to do that. But this has been sitting out in the sun, and it's a little bit harder. Now, if I wait till the end of the day, tomorrow, later on, in this epoxy, see that's pretty set up and hard right there. It gets harder and harder. It's extra slow epoxy with it's the West System epoxy, and to avoid a lot of sanding, especially when you're doing fillets, when you need to fill in the 90, or I should say the 45. Yeah, no, the 90. Is it 90 or 45? No, the 90-degree angle. And when you need to fill in the 90-degree angle with epoxy or some type of structural bonding putty, you take a scraper and you go along, and it looks good, but inevitably it's going to be maybe a little bumpy. And if you wait, before it really gets hard, like it's not completely set up, but it's still soft and I should say soft. Like this epoxy right here, I'm not getting any residue on my fingers, and it's but I could still stick my nail into it. Okay, that's a great time to go over with like a scouring pad and a piece of sandpaper. I use 120 grit, and go over it. Like, see that epoxy that's left on the side? I mean, that'd be a bitch later on to sand. I mean, might sound like minor, petty things, but it will inevitably eat you up if you're trying to do the best job you can and you want it to look good. You'll if you wait till it gets hard, it will be that much harder to sand and look good. See how much texture is in there? See this excess that's on the side? I'm saying probably, see, it's still tacky at this section. There was one section I did, and probably about an hour later I did this curved piece, and that's why that section is okay to be, it's a sand, and this section I need to wait a little bit. But to go over it lightly with the scouring pad and a piece of sandpaper, mold it over, and then rub it gently going up and down, and that'll save you a lot of grief. It really will. When I put this Sepilia on, I broke it, and yes, I was quite upset. And the nails weren't strong enough to hold it down, so I used these screws, which I'm going to pull out later tomorrow after the epoxy sets up, and then just fill it in with epoxy. But you could see how that snapped right there, and I crammed as much epoxy as I could into the break. But they'll have to be all sanded and figured out. I try to do the best I can, but sometimes things don't just work out that way. And overall, it looks good. It's not perfect. Honestly, nothing on this boat is perfect. I try to get it as close as I can, but it's always in my mind. It's like, Either I'm that inexperienced to know how to get a job done. Maybe if I had someone that's done this all their lives, they would show me tips and tricks. But that's what I'm trying to do, is teach you tips and tricks about getting this stuff done. And obviously, you don't have to you don't have to you didn't even have to put this stuff down. Um, the only reason why I even started building a boat was the cost. I didn't have a bunch of money. I certainly didn't want to finance a boat. It's bad enough you got to finance a car, and that's how I started out. And I enjoyed it thoroughly. Now I'm at a point in my life. I'm retired, and I'd probably just go out and buy well, I don't know about a new boat. I don't think I'd want a new boat, but a good used boat. And there are tons of them here in Florida. Guys got all kinds of money. Um, they go out and they buy a nice $60,000, $80,000 rig, and find out that their wife doesn't like it, or they don't like it, or they don't know how to dock, or it scares them too much, and then they give it away, pretty much, because they just want to get rid of it. It's not something they want to do. I'm not like that. I mean, I love it. I love going out on the water. And that's how I started building boats, because I wanted a new boat. I didn't want someone else's crap that I had to fix up. And I had the ability to do something like this, and this is why I'm building boats. I certainly, at this point in my life, could have just bought a boat, a good used boat, and had at it and been out there. But I'm finding that a lot of times it's not the destination, but it's the journey. So I just wanted to fill you in on and all that. It's a little trick that I've learned. It went in well. It looks good. I mean, if let's face it, it is the bottom of the boat, and it's going to be structurally sound by any means when I'm done. But I just wanted to let you in on all that, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to see more of this boat build, like and subscribe, and follow along with me and see how my boat gets done. Y'all be good now.